Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly captivate a man's mind and heart, making him completely obsessed with them? It's not about being the loudest or the most available. It's about making bold moves that shift the entire dynamic. Today, I'm going to share 5 powerful strategies that don't just attract a man, but make him utterly captivated by who you are. Moves that put you in control and leave him wanting more. When it comes to making a man genuinely obsessed with you, it's not just about how you look or the little things you do. It's about the energy you carry and how you present your sense of self-worth. The truth is, men are drawn to women who radiate a certain kind of confidence and value. And that magnetic energy goes far beyond physical appearance. It's something deep and intangible, a force that makes him want to know more, to invest more, and to keep coming back for more. High value energy is about knowing who you are and honoring that without hesitation. It's the difference between someone who chases validation and someone who naturally attracts attention because they don't need constant approval. When you step into that space, you don't just become another option, you become the prize. The man isn't just noticing you, he's captivated by the way you carry yourself, the boundaries you hold, and the standards you set. That energy tells him that you're not just available to anyone, but that your time, your affection, and your presence are valuable and worth earning. What's fascinating is that this energy isn't something you have to fake or pretend. It's a byproduct of self-respect and self-love. When you genuinely appreciate your own worth, it shows in everything you do, from the way you speak, to how you handle challenges, to the way you laugh, and even how you walk into a room. There's a certain assurance and calmness that says, I'm enough, and I don't have to prove it. Men pick up on that immediately, because it's rare and refreshing. In a world where so many people are insecure or unsure of themselves, a woman who owns her value stands out like a beacon. But here's the thing, high value energy isn't about being aloof or unapproachable, it's about being selectively open, welcoming the right people into your space while protecting your emotional and mental well-being. When you're selective, you're saying, I know what I deserve, and I'm not settling for less. That alone creates a powerful pull, because men naturally want to be the ones who rise to that challenge and prove they're worthy of you. This isn't about playing games or keeping him guessing endlessly. It's about setting clear signals that your energy is a precious resource, not something to be taken lightly. Also, when you carry high-value energy, you become less reactive and more proactive in the relationship. You're the one who initiates when you want to, and you're also comfortable waiting when it makes sense. You don't panic if he doesn't text immediately, or if he has other things going on. You trust yourself and your worth enough to stay grounded, which paradoxically makes you more desirable. Because obsession doesn't grow from neediness or desperation. It grows from the magnetic pull of someone who truly values themselves and invites a man to step up to their level. Ultimately, the energy you bring is the foundation for everything else. It's what makes a man want to stay, invest, and truly become obsessed, not with a version of you that's constantly chasing him, but with the woman who owns her life, her power, and her happiness fully. When we talk about being bold, especially in the context of attracting a man and making him obsessed with you, it's important to clear up a common misconception. Boldness is often mistaken for aggression or pushiness, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Being bold is about clarity and confidence, not about overwhelming or pressuring someone. It's about standing in your truth and expressing your feelings, intentions, and desires with a calm certainty that commands respect, rather than fear or resistance. The problem many women face is that they either play it too safe, hiding their true feelings, hesitating to show what they want, or waiting for the man to make all the moves, or they swing too far the other way, becoming overly intense, needy, or demanding. Neither extreme creates real attraction or obsession. Instead, what actually captivates a man is when a woman shows clear, confident communication that leaves no room for guesswork, but still respects his space and autonomy. Being bold means you don't dance around your feelings or wait endlessly for signs that may never come. If you like him, you say it, but in a way that doesn't suffocate or pressure him. If you want to see him again, you ask with confidence rather than playing games or pretending you're too cool to care. It's the difference between sending mixed signals and being straightforward in a way that's both authentic and magnetic. Men appreciate a woman who is direct because it takes the pressure off them to decode confusing messages or chase after something unclear. At the same time, boldness isn't about demanding or forcing things to happen. It's about setting clear boundaries and expectations in a way that feels natural, not confrontational. For example, you might say, "I really enjoy spending time with you, and I'd love to see where this goes," instead of waiting silently or testing him with subtle hints. When you're clear about what you want, you create a space where he can respond openly, without feeling like he's being pushed into a corner. This balance of honesty and respect makes him feel safe and appreciated, which in turn deepens his interest. There's also a powerful psychology behind clarity that most people underestimate. When you are bold and clear, you're signaling that you value yourself and your time. You're showing that you're someone who takes your emotional life seriously, which challenges a man to do the same. It's an invitation for him to step up, to match your energy and intentions. This kind of boldness doesn't scare men away, it excites them because it's rare and refreshing. It cuts through the usual confusion and games that many relationships start with, and instead sets a foundation of trust and genuine connection. Ultimately, boldness in this sense is about owning your feelings and actions without apology, while still being considerate and patient. It's about leading with your heart and your mind together, showing what you want in a way that's appealing and respectful. When a man experiences this kind of bold clarity from you, he doesn't just feel attracted, he becomes genuinely obsessed because he senses a woman who is powerful, authentic, and unapologetically herself. One of the most powerful dynamics in attraction is the concept that men chase what feels earned, not what's handed to them freely. This isn't about playing hard to get or being intentionally distant just for the sake of creating mystery. It's about understanding a deeper psychological truth. When something is too easy, it loses value. When you give too much too soon, your attention, your time, your affection, you risk making yourself feel like a simple option rather than a prize. Men are wired to pursue, to prove themselves, and to feel that their effort matters. That feeling of earning your interest and affection is what makes him want you more, sometimes obsessively so. When you're always available, always saying yes, and always giving without pause, it removes the challenge and the excitement from the dynamic. Instead of feeling motivated to impress you or rise to your standards, he may start to take your presence for granted. This doesn't mean you should be cold or unreachable. On the contrary, it means that you set a rhythm that values your time and attention. You create a sense of scarcity, not because you're trying to manipulate, but because you genuinely honor your own worth and don't settle for less than you deserve. This sense of earning also applies emotionally. Men want to feel like they're making progress in winning your heart, that each conversation, each date, each shared moment is a step closer to something meaningful. If you give all of yourself at once, it leaves little room for that journey, and the natural process of desire to build slowly gets short-circuited By holding back certain levels of emotional openness or intimacy until he's demonstrated commitment and effort, you create a magnetic pull that keeps him engaged and invested. The idea of earning also respects the man's need to feel competent and capable. When he knows that winning your affection isn't automatic, he's inspired to show his best self, to put in the work, and to be consistent. This consistent effort over time creates a powerful bond because it's not superficial or fleeting. It's based on real actions and genuine desire. You aren't just interested in the idea of him. You're interested in the man who proves he's worthy. Importantly, this doesn't mean you play games or withhold affection out of fear or insecurity. It means you approach your interactions with intention and self-respect. You decide when and how you give your energy in ways that feel right for you. And when a man sees that your attention is a reward for his efforts, he will naturally want to keep earning it. That sense of accomplishment is addictive and can quickly turn into obsession because it taps into his deep desire to protect, provide, and be valued. Ultimately, men don't chase what's handed over freely without effort. They chase what feels meaningful and earned. When you set yourself up as someone who offers your time, affection, and emotional energy intentionally, you create a dynamic where he is motivated, engaged, and obsessed. The secret is balancing openness with boundaries, warmth with standards, and generosity with selectivity, so that every moment he spends with you feels like something he's worked hard for. And that makes all the difference. One of the most effective ways to capture and hold a man's attention is by flipping the script. Doing something unexpected that breaks the usual pattern of dating and interaction. When everything follows a predictable routine, attraction can quickly fade. People crave novelty and surprise because it stimulates curiosity and excitement. When you step outside of what he expects and confidently do something different, you create intrigue. And intrigue is the spark that fuels obsession. Most people, especially in the early stages of dating, fall into very familiar patterns. They text when expected, they respond quickly, and they follow the usual social rules that often lead to boredom and disinterest. But flipping the script means breaking out of these patterns in a way that's both natural and bold. It could be as simple as changing the energy of a conversation, introducing a playful challenge, or sharing a side of yourself he's never seen before. This unexpectedness makes you stand out in his mind because you're no longer just another face in the crowd. You become someone who adds a sense of adventure and unpredictability to his life. The beauty of flipping the script is that it doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate plans. Often, it's about small shifts in mindset and behavior that create an air of mystery and excitement. For example, instead of always being the one to initiate contact, you might wait and see how he responds, showing that you have a life and priorities outside of him. Or if conversations usually stay casual, you might suddenly share a deeply personal story or ask a thought-provoking question that challenges him emotionally. These subtle moves disrupt the routine and invite him to engage on a new level. By doing this, you invite him into your world in a way that feels fresh and alive. It sends a clear message that you're not predictable or passive. You're a woman who leads with confidence and creativity. This sparks his curiosity and makes him want to keep discovering new layers of who you are. Instead of feeling like he's ticking off a checklist, he feels like he's part of an unfolding story where he doesn't quite know what's coming next, and that unpredictability keeps him hooked. Another important aspect of flipping the script is that it empowers you to control the emotional tone of the relationship. When you surprise him with a different energy or response, you shift the dynamic from one of routine to one where he's more actively engaged. This makes the connection feel less like a chore and more like an exciting challenge. It creates a sense of playful tension that heightens attraction and deepens emotional investment. Of course, flipping the script doesn't mean being inconsistent or unreliable. It means being intentionally different in ways that feel authentic and empowering. It's about breaking the mold to reveal a fuller, richer version of yourself that most people don't see right away. This strategy naturally draws him in, making him want to know more and deepening his obsession, because you're no longer just another woman, you're someone who brings excitement and depth into his life. In essence, when you flip the script, you become unforgettable, and that's the secret to keeping a man truly obsessed with you. When it comes to attraction, vulnerability is one of the most powerful tools a woman can use, but it's often misunderstood. Vulnerability doesn't mean opening yourself up completely without any guard or caution. It means showing your authentic self in a way that feels safe and balanced. The real secret to making a man obsessed with you lies in combining that vulnerability with clear, strong boundaries. This balance creates an irresistible energy because it signals emotional depth alongside self-respect. Most people either close off emotionally to protect themselves, or they throw everything out there too quickly without any filter. Neither extreme is attractive in the long run. When you are vulnerable, you allow a man to see the real you, your hopes, your fears, your quirks. But when you do this with boundaries, you're also showing that you value yourself enough not to be taken for granted. It sends a message that you're open to connection, but you're not desperate or willing to compromise your dignity. The power of vulnerability with boundaries is that it creates a safe space for intimacy to grow. When a man sees that you're willing to share parts of your inner world, but only with those who respect you, it challenges him to rise to that level of emotional maturity. He's invited into your world, but on your terms. This dynamic makes him feel needed and trusted, which are deeply motivating feelings for him to stay engaged and invested. Vulnerability without boundaries can feel like weakness, and it often leads to confusion and emotional exhaustion. On the other hand, boundaries without vulnerability can make a woman seem cold or distant. The magic happens when you blend the two. You reveal your true self, but keep a clear line that says, "This is who I am, and this is how I expect to be treated." That kind of authenticity is rare and incredibly magnetic. Moreover, having boundaries means you don't tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or playing games. You communicate your needs clearly and hold firm to your standards. This firmness makes a man feel secure because he knows exactly where you stand. There's no guessing or second guessing, which reduces anxiety and creates a healthier, more focused connection. He feels that his efforts matter and that your openness is something he's earned, not something given away casually. Showing vulnerability with boundaries also invites him to be vulnerable himself. When you lead by example, it encourages him to lower his defenses and share more of himself. This mutual openness builds trust and a deep emotional bond, which is the foundation of true obsession. He's not just attracted to your exterior or the idea of you. He's drawn to your soul and the unique connection you share. Ultimately, vulnerability paired with boundaries creates an emotional dynamic that's powerful and unforgettable. It makes you stand out as a woman who is real, grounded and confident, someone worth fighting for and impossible to forget. One of the most overlooked but crucial factors in making a man obsessed with you is realizing that you set the emotional tone in the relationship. This means you lead the emotional energy, the mood, and the overall vibe of your interactions. When you take responsibility for the emotional environment you create, you become the one who guides how he feels when he's around you. And this creates a powerful magnetic pull. Most people wait for their partner to show how they feel first, or expect the man to make the first move emotionally. But when you understand that your energy shapes the relationship, you can intentionally influence how he experiences you and the connection. If you bring confidence, playfulness, and calmness, it invites him to respond in kind. If you are anxious, needy, or uncertain, it creates tension and confusion. The emotional tone you set tells him whether he's entering a safe, exciting, or stressful space. And men naturally want to spend time where they feel good and energized. Setting the emotional tone doesn't mean you have to hide your feelings or pretend everything is perfect. It means you take control of your reactions and choose the kind of energy you want to share. For example, if something bothers you, instead of reacting impulsively or withdrawing, you calmly express your feelings with clarity and respect. This shows emotional maturity, and men respect that. It also invites him to mirror your steadiness rather than pull away. When you stay grounded, you become a source of stability and attraction rather than drama. Leading emotionally also means being playful and light-hearted when the moment calls for it. Humor and fun create a bond that's hard to break. If you can laugh with him, tease him gently, and bring joy into your interactions, he'll look forward to every moment spent with you. Playfulness creates a positive emotional tone that strengthens attraction and encourages him to come back again and again. Another important part of setting the emotional tone is authenticity. When you're genuine and consistent with your emotions, you build trust. He doesn't have to guess how you're feeling or wonder if you're pretending. That transparency makes him feel safe and valued, which deepens his emotional investment. You're not just a fleeting interest. You're someone he can connect with on a real level. By controlling the emotional atmosphere, you also avoid the ups and downs that drain relationships. You create a space where emotional highs are more frequent and lows are managed with care. This smooth emotional rhythm keeps him hooked because it feels like being with someone who gets it, who understands not just attraction but emotional connection. When you set the emotional tone, you're no longer waiting to see how he feels. You're leading the way. That kind of leadership is rare and attractive because it shows strength, confidence, and emotional intelligence. It makes him want to rise to your level and creates a dynamic where he's not just interested, but truly obsessed. In the end, making a man truly obsessed with you isn't about tricks or playing games. It's about embracing your own power and living authentically. When you bring high-value energy, communicate with bold clarity, create a dynamic where his efforts matter, flip the script to keep things fresh, show vulnerability with strong boundaries, and take the lead in setting the emotional tone, you become irresistible. These bold moves aren't just about attracting a man. They're about becoming the woman who commands respect, admiration, and deep, lasting connection. When you step into that space fully, you don't just capture his attention, you capture his heart and mind in a way that lasts. So own your worth, be unapologetically you, and watch how the right man becomes completely obsessed with everything that makes you unique.